Welcome everybody to Command Combat Miniature Reenactments. Although this is a little different than usual, we're doing it as a computer one because we have with us Cliff here, and he did his baccalaureate was on the Napoleon campaign in Italy. So give us a little bit of background of this, Cliff.
Okay, the Italian campaign, it's known as the 1796 campaign. It's actually three major campaigns are going on. There's two were in central Germany, and Italy was kind of like the distraction. It wasn't supposed to be a big campaign. The problem was the two major campaigns in Germany, on the Army of the Meuse and the Army of the Rhine, they were defeated early on, and it left Italy, and it turned all of the Austrian forces on Italy, which was it was probably the least equipped, most underfunded, and had a brand new, untried commander, Napoleon Bonaparte. And
wow. So what I'm hearing, and for those of you listening in, this is Troy. And by the way, if my boss calls, tell him I'm sick. So what I'm hearing is that not a whole lot has changed in the hundreds of years since Napoleon. So France remains underfunded and just really in a mess.
well, the French at this period of time,
And they still hate the Italians.
yeah, well, the French at this period of time, in the time of the Revolution, they decided a really good idea is declare war on literally everybody in Europe, even though their army was completely a shambles. They'd killed off or driven off all of their best officers, and so now they were just throwing anybody into uniform.
So they didn't learn anything from Hitler.
Or Joe Stalin.
So, it suddenly occurred to me, this is the campaign. I was meaning to go into a battle, so let's just get a sense. For now, let's just sort of look at this, and I'm going to go into the battles, because that's actually what we want to do a video on here, is the battles. But give us a sort of a sense here of what's going on in terms of a campaign.
Well, in the campaign, Napoleon's army is
Right-click to move
on
your army
paper,
to any part of the
it's
highlighted.
96,000
All armies and
troops.
fleets have a zone
In
of control,
reality, it's no more
represented
than
by the
about
circle
70.
displayed
This
around
is
them.
apparently, according to the game,
Any
this is what
enemy
he
force
has.
moving
Yes,
into the zone
he
of
has
another
a
is
very
liable
tiny
to
army.
instant interception
Several
and
regiments
attack.
don't have muskets, and most of them don't have shoes. His cavalry is almost non-existent. The nags that they have can barely stand up because they're on half rations. So, as a matter of course, he should not have won these campaigns. The Austrian army at this period of time is extremely well equipped. It's very rich. Unfortunately for them, almost all of their senior officers are in their 70s. Napoleon, at this time, is 26
Is
years
the
old.
loss of troops
What
from a
was the
unit due to
lifespan
desertion,
of people back
disease,
at that time?
etc.
If they were in their
A
70s, weren't they
unit will
dead?
suffer attrition
Well,
if it ends
brain
its
dead
turn in the
mostly.
field during the winter months
But
or in desert
physically,
conditions.
they were still
Armies
ambulatory.
native to regions
That's
in the
kind of why
far
they're able
north
to.
or
So
in deserts
what we've got
are
here in
immune
terms
to
of
attrition
areas,
when
we got
located in
Nice,
those
which the
regions.
French apparently have,
All elite
and then
units
over,
are
let's see,
immune
who is
to
this over
attrition.
here? This is
Sardinia.
all right. So
Now, this is one of the is known as the War of the Second Coalition by the non-French. Sardinia is one of the coalition members. It is a tiny country with a very poor army, and a king who's known as Victor Amadeus, who's also nicknamed the King of the Dormice.
oh wow. And in fact, is that, let's see, that's Michel Colley.
Marshal Coley is the commanding officer for the Sardinians.
Okay, and they're against the French as well, I presume.
Yes.
All right, and then you got this Austrians over here. You've got Eugene Mercy. The
D'Argenton. Yes. General.
And he's probably. It looks like, according to this, he is sort of on the border there against France.
Right.
And then further in, you got Piedmont, Sardinia. Oh, okay, so this is all Piedmont, Sardinia
Yes.
up in here.
Yes.
Oh, so Austrians are actually in the Piedmont, Sardinia area to kind of help guard, huh?
Yes, they're allies with Piedmont, Sardinia, and they're actually in overall command of which is a lot of tension for the people of the Sardinians, because they don't particularly like the Austrians.
Oh, okay. So they don't like them being in their territory. All right. So now, where did Napoleon go? He started here, but apparently, again, according to the game, he did.
Now, what Napoleon does is he knows he needs to separate Sardinia from Austria. What he's going to do is go in and attack the capital city of Turin, and basically scare the Sardinians out of the war. And that's what he does.
Oh, because that's their capital. So he
Yes.
goes in and takes that out, scares them out.
He scares them out of the war very, very quickly.
Now, is it his group, his unit specifically, or is it just somebody else?
No, it's people. He's in direct command.
So it would be, in the game terms, it would be like he'd come back here and then go up and join with his army. And then these two together would go probably take them out.
Well, that's not how Napoleon fights.
Oh, okay.
Actually, what he does is lure you into a trap.
Even I do that.
Make you start the fight here, and now what he has over here, this is an army observation, keeping an eye on the Austrians, while this force will go in and drive them out of the battle.
Oh, so it would have been just Napoleon himself came back here and led the attack while leaving the rest of the guys up
leaving
here.
his army
Up
watching
here.
these guys.
Okay.
So one guy walked into a city and took it over?
Well, no, it's him and with this army, because he got this army right
Funds
here.
are deducted from your treasury
that's
at the beginning of each
Jean
turn
Serrier?
to pay for the supplies and wages of your troops in the
Serrier,
field.
General Serrier.
This is known
He's the
as
commander who
unit
actually
upkeep.
defeats Coley.
Okay,
at
so
Turin.
Serrier did go in there without.
Yeah.
I mean, Napoleon was not with them then.
No, he's not. He's actually not on the field with them at the time.
Oh, so he probably was
But-
over here watching out after the Austrians. Okay, so then he goes in, takes. So Serrier takes. Sardinia out.
drives them out of the war.
Okay.
Now this sets him up to put a force here. Napoleon's over there to catch these guys between them and crush them.
So so we have men here, Sardinia over here, and Napoleon here. They crush the Austrians here.
Well, they just drive them out. They
Drive
don't-
them out. Okay. So the Austrians move back.
They run for it.
They come back to. And now, how far back do they go before they draw a line? Sorry. You have. Let's see. What is this? Genoa here.
Genoa. That's
Genoa.
where they're going to go for.
Oh, okay. So they're going to go back here to guard. Napoleon and do both of the armies come up to here, or does he try to flank them again?
Well, he tries to get around them. But you see, the thing is, you're fighting in the low. Piedmont means the foothills,
Okay.
and so they are trying to.
Is that an Italian word that means foothills?
Yeah. Well, it's
Okay.
Well, PA is foot and mount. It's just foothills.
Okay. Interesting.
And the thing is, fighting in the foothills, and his army is starving, so he has to drive these people out.
Napoleon does.
Yes,
It's
his
okay.
army is starving, literally, and so
And isn't he the one who said an army marches on its stomach?
yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
and that's where he
one-
learned.
That's one of the apocryphal stories that he says that.
Interesting.
But he has to get out of these foothills and get into the open plains, so he can get to the open plains around Milan, where there's lots and lots of wealthy cities full of food. If he stays in these foothills, when winter comes, his army dies.
Okay.
And so he can't get locked up here in Genoa or anywhere in these foothills. He's got to drive the Austrians, either defeat the Austrians or drive them out of these foothills so he can get into the open plains.
So did he defeat them here then?
Yeah, he pushed them out.
And he pushed them out, and they went back this way towards Parma, or back this way down towards Pontremé?
No, he'd be going toward Parma.
Parma. So they probably got driven back through these woods up this direction?
No, they're going to see armies like this. In this period, they have to follow the roads.
Okay.
French armies will go through the woods, but Austrian armies, they still fight on the linear system, so they have to move along the roads.
Oh wow, that's fascinating.
And it slows them down because linear marches, everybody has to be in the right order, and you have to understand, these armies, these guys carry everything with them. They have their Chinaware. General d'Argenton has Chinaware. All these are great nobles. They have, nice things with them.
Yeah.
And it's these armies stretch out 20, 30 miles sometimes.
Wow.
And they move 10 miles. And that takes all day.
Right.
It takes all day. While you have the French, who are literally hungry, are running after you.
Right.
And see, if they get caught on the road in line of march and the French are anywhere around them, they'll eat them alive.
So is that what happened? Because they got driven out and had to go up this road, obviously.
Well, the thing is, they know they got problems. So they will,
Austrians.
Yeah, they will leave people behind in this city. You cannot leave one of these cities open behind you.
Okay.
So you have to take it. You have to take the city. While you're doing that, they're going to try to get out. Because one of the things you can do, if you have naval support, if it's Genoa, you can resupply from the water. But if you take that, if you take the city, that cuts off their naval supplies, and if you besiege it for long enough, they'll starve in there.
Right.
But the problem is your army's starving too.
Right.
And so you can't. It's an attritional way of fighting, and so 9 times out of 10, the city will fall, and the army will try to march out, or they'll have the word sortie, as a French word for going out. Well, sortieing really means trying to bust out, trying to bust out of a siege situation. And see, the trick is, if you bust out in a sortie, hopefully you've got troops on the other side trying to bust in at the same time, so you can push the besiegers out of the way so you can get out.
Right.
Unfortunately, everybody's reading it. Everybody's reading each other's mail, and so they know what's. When you start making all the movements to break out, the other side knows it. They can hear you doing it.
Right.
And so, and if they see somebody coming, they know this. They know you're going to try to break out, and usually it doesn't work very well.
Right.
So.
Okay, so now did the Austrians escape from there?
Yeah, they did.
So they come up this road. They come, up this way. The French have now captured Genoa. Mm-hmm. Now, where did he go from here?
Now, let me see what city, because this is all northern Italy.
So yeah, we got Pontremé. Troy's going for craft service. Tuscany over here.
Okay.
And you got Parma up here. So that's why I was thinking they must have gone up here and gone across, because if they went to Parma, that's over here.
Yeah.
Got so that's Genoa here, Parma over here.
All right.
And Milan is up here.
This is getting into plains. Into Lodi is one of his famous battles, the Battle of Lodi.
Okay.
It's one of his great battles, the Battle of Lodi, and they go through Brescia.
So he basically they retreat this way, and he chases after them.
Yeah, he chases after them.
And they go through Lodi, Milan.
And this area here is known as the Quadrilateral.
Okay.
There are 4 big forts, big cities, fortified cities around this area, around Brescia, Lodi, and all this area. And what's that city?
Mantua.
Mantua. Yes, this is one of the major cities that you have to take. It is part of the Quadrilateral. This big this big area, and it's
So
swampy.
This is kind of the area because you got Verona. Okay, Russia. So yeah, so they chase through this region up here, Milan and Lodi, into the Quadra area where you got the big forts. And then what did he do here? How did he fight them?
Here's the thing here. Move back here to Lodi.
Sure thing.
This is one of his great battles. This is called the Battle of Lodi Bridge. And see, at the Battle of Lodi Bridge, he gets the nickname of the Little Corporal. That's where he gets that nickname, the Little Corporal, because the Austrians had set up a major defense. One of the hardest things you can do fighting any battle is crossing water.
Right.
They have the bridge, and they have the bridge on one side, and they need to get over. Now, what the Austrians are trying to do is blow up the bridge to keep them, to put some distance between them. And so his army piles up at Lodi Bridge, and they have to rush the bridge, and it is so bad. He actually gets down, grabs the colors himself, and starts rushing the bridge.
Okay.
And so, and he breaks through the bridge. It's one of his major battles, one of his major victories.
Well, you know, I think we have Lodi as one of the scenarios, so why don't I go ahead and load that up and let's take a look at that battle. Would that be okay? All right, here we go. I'm going to